Whether you're a fan of the NBA or not, one of the most talked about teams in the past decade have been the Golden State Warriors. And not just the most talked about, the most dominant team in the past decade have been the Golden State Warriors. In this speech, I wanted to highlight the Warriors' dominance by going over their draft history, championship history, and where they stand amongst the all-time great NBA dynasties. That being said, let's transition to where it all began, being the NBA draft. Now, before I continue, can anybody guess who the Warriors could have drafted to make their team so great? If you have just the slightest bit of knowledge on the Warriors, you would know that this answer is very obvious. The Golden State Warriors, unlike most teams, built their championship roster through the draft. In 2009, the Golden State Warriors drafted Steph Curry with the 7th overall pick out of Davidson. In 2011, the Warriors drafted Klay Thompson with the 11th overall pick, and in 2012, the Golden State Warriors drafted Draymond Green with the 35th overall pick. Very quickly, these three players became regarded as the Warriors' Big Three, as all were a key part of each of the Warriors' championship wins. Now, the Warriors have had much success in the draft, but they've also had much success in free agency. Over the years, the Warriors have been able to sign a bunch of role players that have given them depth and leadership in all of their championship runs. Some being the 2015 Finals MVP Andre Iguodala, Sean Livingston, David West. The list really goes on. But their most notable free agent signing being Kevin Durant in 2016 when he signed for a 2-year, $54.3 million contract. This not only changed the Warriors roster, but changed the NBA as a whole, as the Warriors were unanimously the most dominant team in the NBA with Durant on their team. Aside from star players, great coaching from Steve Kerr, and management from GM Bob Myers, the Warriors had the perfect blueprint for any team looking to compete for a championship. Now that the framework's been established, what did the Warriors actually accomplish in this championship run? Before I continue, can anybody guess how many times the Warriors have been in the finals in the past 10 years? Of those, how many times have they won? The Golden State Warriors have been to the championship a total of 6 times in the past 10 years, and of those 6, have won 4, being in 2015, 2017, 2018, and most recently, 2022. In each of those finals victories, star players showed up and role players showed up, all being a collaborative team effort. As mentioned before, Andre Iguodala won his first Finals MVP in 2015. Kevin Durant won his 2 Finals MVPs in 2017 and 2018, and Steph Curry most recently won his first ever Finals MVP in 2022 when he averaged a total of 31.2 points per game. Now, winning is great, but it doesn't go without its losses. The Golden State Warriors suffered 2 losses in their championship run as well, with one being in 2016 against the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Warriors were the first team in NBA history to go 73-9, but ultimately came up short in the end against LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers as they blew a 3-1 lead. In this loss, LeBron James put on a dominating performance as he averaged 29.7 points per game, 11.3 rebounds per game, and 8.9 assists per game, and his counterpart Kyrie Irving averaged a total of 27.1 points per game and hit the game-clinching shot. In 2019, the Warriors also suffered a loss to the Toronto Raptors, as an injured Warriors team with no Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant made it very hard to compete with the talented Raptors with Kawhi Leonard and Fred VanVleet. This was the first championship in Raptors history. Now, the Warriors have won and lost finals, but where does this rank them all-time on the all-time NBA dynasty list? Before I continue, does anyone have any favorite NBA teams or dynasties that they would like to mention? The Golden State Warriors are a dominant team, but how does that compare them against the greats? According to the sporting publication page, The Sporting News, the Warriors are currently ranked 4th on the all-time NBA dynasty list, with the only ones ahead of them being the 1957 to 1969 Boston Celtics, the 1979 to 1989 Los Angeles Lakers, and the 1990 to 1998 Chicago Bulls being number 1. When analyzing these different dynasties, the Celtics won an impressive 11 for 12 on championships. The Lakers went 5 for 8, and the Bulls won a perfect 6 for 6. Regardless of your opinion on any of these teams, each played in a different era in a different time of the NBA, which makes every single one of these teams so special, as they are a staple of NBA history. Now, the Golden State Warriors inspire me, and I'm sure you're wondering, why does an NBA team inspire you? The Golden State Warriors inspire me because they're an example of trusting a process and never giving up until you accomplish that. Before winning in 2015, it took the Warriors 40 years to win another championship. And as soon as they won that championship, they proceeded to win 3 more after that. To me, I see the Warriors as an example of believing in yourself and trusting a process. And I apply those processes to my own life today, of never giving up and trusting what I believe in. Now, to recap everything I talked about in this speech today, I went over the Warriors' draft history, championship history, and where they stand amongst the all-time great dynasty list. The Warriors have proven to be a dominant team, but in 2023, the question still remains, do they have any more finals runs left in them? Now, while most people would count them out nowadays, I would say you can never truly count out the Warriors, and they're looking to make some noise in the playoffs this year. Something you can't take away from the Warriors, as they've cemented themselves as an all-time NBA modern dynasty and one of the most dominant of all time. Thank you.